Have you worked at all with rats on this question of how they experience that separation?
We do, actually. We train them to recognize an odor, like it could be just a Latke odor, and then test them the next day on whether or not they recognize that in the context of having, eaten something quite rewarding. And in the case of the rats, it's sugar. But for humans, it could be, a delicious Latke.
So we could call this Hamantash and Latke, and we do things like this. This would be a marriage between them, and this would be, well, actually, there's something going wrong here. Their offspring. An offspring that immediately calls into question this whole relationship, which is in Jewish tradition an abomination.
Again, we see a divide between Latkes and Hamantash, with young people of color much more likely to kind of say that they prefer Latkes, and young whites who feel politically alienated, we might say, saying they prefer the kind of sweetness, the kind of nostalgia of Hamantash.
And what we found, and what's been found in the literature, is that sugar is far more addictive than other kinds of foods. So if you were to make a comparison, just to calibrate our model, this model of addiction, where consuming this food, sugar in this case, in the form of the Hamantash, and also the flour. The flour is no good because that's turning into sugar as well. So that by itself is creating issues about health down the road. So instead of distortion, in terms of health and addiction, and
behavior.
So we're going to have less obesity, we're going to have greater health, much less diabetes. I mean, no question, consuming sugar and the flour that goes into the Hamantash. These are
educational outcomes.
Much better educational outcomes, but also a bunch of other outcomes. Health, education, participation in crime, I would argue, the ability to focus.
All right, Professor Hagel, just if you could just tell me in one sentence then, do you come down on the side of the Latke or on the side of the Hamantash? Well, I would have to say either or. Either. You keep returning to the thing in itself. I tell you, we're not interested in the thing in itself. We're interested in the idea. The mind cannot reach the thing in itself. Surely you should know this. If you don't know this, then you belong in some vulgar disciplinary department, not in the Committee on Social Thought.